Hi Luigi, Jeff here. Just got back from just got from my the gym, and I wanted to address this topic that you had here on LinkedIn that you had brought up here. Let me pull it up again here about the end of expensive translations and why the free AI tools are the industry's future. Was a business magazine that put out this article, and I thought it was really interesting having. I remember having come to Europe. Because the last statement you made here about the last statement in the comments here was that does anybody remember that one of the main obligations of companies receiving the European Union funding, such as machine translation related platforms, is to make the resulting products freely available. And I remember coming to Europe when I finally came back to Europe permanently back in the late 1990s. This was this was the beginning of the fourth framework program. And I remember that that was Elda and Elray had just been set up for the databases, and so I became technical director of that. And one of the things we focused on was making sure that the problem in the past has been that the programs had never, the results had never become available. So that that warehouse of databases was set up to make this possible. Now it wasn't freely available, but there were different pricing. So academic research, industrial research, and corporate commercial use. So it did make it possible to have a different cost involved, but it made it affordable. Let's say that was the thing. Now, some of the interesting thing I remember when I started doing things for and I wrote a book. I wrote a film for the fourth and the fifth program, and I participated in several fourth and fifth program framework program projects. And that was a whole human language technology era. They called it IST and then human HLT and stuff. But now is a look to where some are all. The problem is that a lot of companies back then, when we were doing it, we had to calculate was it going to be the benefit or not, or how much we were going to lose by having one or two people involved in these projects, right? And for small companies, that was the issue. Bigger companies could kind of absorb the cost, but and now I'm working in a big company where you just, we can choose the ones we want to work on, right? Choose not to work on some of them, I guess. But smaller companies, you really can't invest, someone's salary for 6 months easily to be involved in something where you're not getting any money out of it, right? You need to at least get a reimbursed thing, and I think a lot of companies are beginning to get the idea that they need to be involved in it, but it makes them more visible, right? So smaller companies can take that opportunity. They just have to, absorb this cost in the beginning. Hopefully, that's going to have a return on investment. So that's still always the case. But we'll see where this goes and how this is going to help address the expensive translation localization costs, right? And I think one of the things that we've all seen is the trying to say what is the actual cost of this. I remember coming to you about probably 4 years ago about the whole thing of terminology, calculating terminology return on investment. And I want to thank you for that, for talking to me about that and pointing me a couple articles that had come out, conference talks and articles. And I've been citing that for a number of years. I've done some of my own calculations too, and for our own internal use of SAP to kind of figure out what the cost would be, right? Because you got to convince management of this stuff. And the hardest thing is that there's very little on the cost, the value of this, right? And so that's why I made a whole series of videos just on the value of the language industry, right? Because I think this is really important to people to be able to figure out if things are freely made available, made for free or freely available. That's two different things, right? But what is how much are people going to, the companies, how much are they going to be able to, institutions, how much are they going to be able to absorb the cost to get the visibility to be able to get more customers in the end? So, and that's for companies, right? Academic institutions is a whole different thing. And for governments is still a different thing. But this we'll see where this goes. But I think this is the whole investments. We'll see that there are a lot of free things out there. And I mean, we have partnerships, just SAP, we have partnerships with a lot of these different AI companies, right? Because we've decided not to reinvent this wheel, but have partnerships, to be able to access these different platforms. and to be able to use it and wrap it into a wrapper. So um, we'll see where this goes. But I think this is going to. You're right that the cost of translation, well, even the cost of MT was to try to deal with the high cost of translation. The whole thing now is where it's going to be, with things becoming free, and we've seen AI companies that fail, right? The recent couple 2 years, we've seen companies that failed. There was a lot of hope that it was going to go, and it didn't. So will and the EU or companies like Germany put a lot of money into this, right? Invest a lot of money. So we'll see where this goes, but hopefully we'll see if this does curb the high cost of translation or not, or if we come back and say, well, it's still costly. So we'll see, right? But thanks so much.